explore a theme in Indonesian horror movies, but it continues to have avid fans as many enjoy discovering stories related to the spirit. The movie is set for release just in time before Eid holidays, and for that we have Hannah to tell us more about the movie. Welcome to Daily 90.
Hi.
And talking about this movie.
Yes.
Okay, Jailangkung, not Jailangkung.
Yeah.
So is there a difference between, because there's an old movie around 2001, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
right? It's called Jailangkung.
Yep.
This one is Jailangkung.
So it's basically, it's the same directors as the first film,
Okay.
Jailangkung. We've changed the film name this time round to actually the original
Okay.
name. So if you look in the Indonesian dictionary, it's actually Jailangkung. It comes from Jailangkung, like it's in China they also have the same
Okay, they have the spirit.
So yeah, so it's actually, the correct way to say it is actually Jailangkung.
Jailangkung. About this movie, okay, let's do a flashback, you know, when
Yeah.
it was 2001. I'm one of those people where I couldn't sleep, you know, for at least three days, 2 nights.
Okay.
Will it be like
That's
this
very
again,
specific.
you know? Because I'm traumatized with this kind of movie, you know?
Yeah, you know, everyone we've been speaking to about this movie remembers the one from 2001.
Right.
Because the film, like, 2001 is when the Indonesian movie industry wasn't going that great.
Right.
And this film just exploded in
Right.
2001. And it really particularly put horror films, Indonesian horror films,
Yeah.
back on the map.
Right.
So everyone we've been talking to loves the first one. And what we kind of want to reiterate to them is, it's a different story.
Okay.
But it's the two same directors who brought you the first
one,
Jailangkung that
yeah.
was a freaking huge success. And they've come back together now to make this new one, and it's basically it's the same theme of this same spirit, but it's a
Right.
completely new story. It's new actors.
Okay.
And whereas in the first film, it revolves around friendship, right?
Right,
It's like
yeah.
a group of
Friends,
friends
yeah.
who love looking for
Yeah,
weird stuff.
yeah.
This
But
time
one?
around, it's based on this family.
Okay.
It's this family drama, essentially. And yeah, I
And
think
your character in the movie?
so. So basically, there's a family of 5. There's a mother and father played by Wulan Guritno and Lukman Sarli,
Okay, yeah.
and they have 3 daughters.
And you're one of them.
So I'm the eldest.
The
obviously.
eldest
I'm
one.
like the old one.
Okay.
So I'm the eldest, and then there's Amanda Rolls, and there's Gabriela Kulnil.
Okay.
And basically, the story is, as you can see from the trailer,
Yeah.
our father's been found in like a state, and like he's in a coma, and we don't know
Okay.
why.
Right.
And it's been found in this mysterious place. So, you know, we don't know what's going on. The doctors can't explain everything. So we
Right.
decide to go to the place where he was discovered and try and see
What's going on?
what's
And
going on.
what happened to him?
When we get there, we find
This.
a Jailangkung.
Yeah, Jailangkung.
And then we basically discover a lot about our family's past, and
Okay.
we start finding out a lot of things that
Being
we
curious,
didn't know.
basically, about your history, family history.
Yeah, but also, you know, like if things, you know, we're a close-knit family, we love each other, and when something bad happens to one of the members,
Right.
you have this sense of, you know, you want to protect your
yeah,
family,
true.
and family's first. So this film it's different to the first one. I think it explores this family drama and family conflict that is really interesting. And
Okay.
because you sympathize with this family, whatever happens to them, I think becomes even more scary.
Oh, okay,
Because
okay.
we're building up this very strong
Relationship.
the
Okay.
strong drama aspect that
Would-
makes
would-
it different to the first.
Would it be any one of those visual or sound where you make noise? You know, it gets me going. You know, I'm one of those person where, all right, if I go home, will I hear this kind of noise in my ears again and stuff like that? Will we have that sound effect as the first one, or it will be a whole new thing, basically?
You know what? I think that's the strength of any good horror film. It's combining this, you know, the visual with the sound, because as you know, sound can create crazy
Right.
things in your head that just accentuate all these horror things. So, you know, this is a scary film.
Okay.
It's a horror. Of course,
Yeah,
we
it's a
want to make
horror,
it as
true. You
scary
wanna
as
make people-
possible.
yeah, right.
But we want people to. What it isn't is, you know, Indonesian horror films have a habit of just being about the scares and like
Yeah.
the shock factors. This film is not about that. It has a very interesting story, and we're hoping that this because the story is so good, because it's so interesting, it makes the horror even more intense.
Okay.
We're not just trying to kind of kaget-kagetan,
Right,
as you
right.
say
Make
in
people
Indonesian.
shocked.
We're not
Yeah,
just
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like
yeah.
jump scare you.
Right, right.
We genuinely want you to, you know, understand these characters and get into the story and understand why these 3 girls feel this need to go and find out what's happened to their father and happened to their family.
And what about the, like, for example, the pace of the movie? Sometimes, you know, typical Indonesian movies, they like to slow, you know, they're kind of slow. And where this one will be having one of those pace where, you know, kind of fast.
I think the directors have intentionally, I mean, you have to watch it.
Yeah, I will.
I think they've intentionally, like, created, everything is done
right on time.
specifically for effect.
Okay.
So everything is done with a purpose.
Perfect, okay, with a purpose, okay.
With a purpose. So, and it's definitely what we're trying to do, what Screenplay Films is trying to do with this film, is to bring back Indonesian horror films as, you know, how they were in the past.
Right,
really good Indonesian horror films and how the first Jailangkung was.
Any challenging, you know, being the character as, what's your name in the movie?
My name is Angel.
Angel. Well, how's there any challenging as your character here?
Yeah, she's she's a complex character. She, you know, she's it's the first time I've played a character that's really quite depressive. But there's a lot of things that happen. She has a lot of pressure in her life, and it was interesting to try and channel all that kind of stuff. And you know, being on a horror film, there's a lot of strange things that happened on set. And,
is there any story in this set, and we'll cut, you know, something spooky or on the set that you felt maybe, or maybe the crew or your colleagues?
We had, I mean, there were a few people who got possessed.
Okay. Wow, okay. All right, okay.
There's a few people that got possessed. There was, like, we had an incident where we were shooting in this hospital.
Okay.
And the crew, like, they'd get into the lift and they'd want to press G to go down.
To go around, okay.
And for some reason, the lift would never stop at G. It would take them downstairs to the morgue.
Okay, all right, wow.
So, like, without them knowing, they're like, oh, what floor am I on? And they walk out, and then it will be the morgue.
The morgue.
Which is pretty scary.
Okay.
And, yeah, there was a lot of interesting stuff like that happening. Like, we also shot at Museum Bahari, which is in, like, the old town, right? And it's from the VOC days, from the Dutch days.
Yes.
And so the art director on this project is also amazing. The sets look amazing.
Okay.
And so one of our makeup artists was taking a picture, like, he was taking a selfie with the set behind him.
Right.
Spooky set.
Just
and he's like, yeah. When he went to look at the picture, the set was there, he wasn't.
Oh, goodness, okay. That was, okay.
So, yeah, that kind of stuff.
But did you have any, you know, worries of playing in this movie, in this role, you know, where, I don't know if you believe in this, you know, sixth sense or this kind of things, you know, were you worried?
I mean, worried, no. I think it's standard. I think it's standard Indonesian thing to, like, freak out with this kind of stuff. But I'm quite logical. I'm kind of, you know, I feel like I always want to apply logic and science to everything. I don't want to get too, you know what?
Carried away.
You end up spooking yourself out. Like, there's nothing there, and you're the one making yourself scared.
Right.
So there wasn't any worries like that. But, you know, every time we went to a new place, you know, we would have...
would you have this guy, like, you know, who you push it out first, do a ritual thing?
We didn't know this, but apparently every day, every new location, there was a guy who would kind of bless
this place. So, yeah, so
we didn't know it. We were too busy, like, preparing for our scenes, but apparently there was someone. And there was also, I mean, you know, personally, when you also want to kind of, you know, come in and be respectful to whatever entity is there, you know.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, Hannah, we're going to take a short break.
Sure.
We'll talk more about Jailangkung. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Daily 90. We still have Hannah here with the movie Jailangkung.
Yeah.
This is not your first time being in the movie horror, right?
No.
Your experience. Is there any challenging besides, you know, the character?
Yeah, horror films tend to be a lot more physical than drama films. I mean, you know, there's a lot of running around in the forest and getting rained on, and you know, there's a lot of challenging stuff. And physically, you have to be prepared because there's a lot of it's physically demanding, and you get put into situations that are not necessarily the most comfortable, but yeah, you just got to enjoy it.
Okay. And the process here, is this taken only in Jakarta or other cities?
No, we actually shot all over Indonesia for this film.
Okay.
We were
How was the
in,
experience?
oh, it was amazing. We were in NTB, in Bali, in Menjangan Island in Bali, in Purwokerto, Cimahi, Bandung.
Wow.
Jakarta,
You guys were basically
Bogor.
traveling.
We were traveling everywhere, so it was like it was a strenuous shoot because there was a lot of travel days, and we went to like locations that were really quite far to get to. But the directors really wanted to find specific locations that were very spooky. I don't want to keep scaring you, babe. Like yeah, so we shot in this forest in Purwokerto that no other production has ever shot there before. It's a beautiful forest, but obviously because we were shooting there, it kind of turned into this like really creepy kind of place. And we're also the first Indonesian film to ever shoot scenes using a seaplane.
Oh,
yeah. So as you can see from the trailer, there's a scene where the seaplane lands in like in the middle of this lake, and we shot that in Menjangan Island in Bali.
Wow.
It was beautiful, but again, these places are really cool. Like the design, the art design, and everything it's brilliant. Everything's been done for a specific effect.
Okay.
We want you to feel something in particular when you watch this film, and it's been done, visually, with the story, with the sound, with the music.
And talking about process making this movie, how long was that?
It was about 26 days over 1.5 months because we had so many traveling times. It obviously took longer, but it was about 26 days in total, which is quite long.
And talking about this movie, basically, in this movie business, basically, how is that going so far here? Like, will it be, like, for example, what I'm trying to ask, basically, it's different, basically, right, with other horror movies. Like, for example, like we live in Indonesia more into tuyul, or how is that?
Well, I think like Indonesians love anything that is to do with mystis, anything that's about that other world. For some reason, we love scaring ourselves with that kind of stuff, right? And I think why Jailangkung is so popular, why the first one was so popular, is because Indonesians love that kind of stuff. You talk about Jailangkung and everyone's like, oh yeah, I've done that before. Or I know someone who can call spirits. Or, so, I think one of the reasons why this film and the previous one was so popular, or we're hoping this one is going to be so popular, is because it is so close to Indonesians' hearts. In a very creepy way. But one good thing is that, like Indonesian horror films get a lot of slack for being not that great, and even some, like, they're quite tacky, they're quite distasteful. There's a lot of like sexy girls out of nowhere and stuff. What we want to do with this film, we want to bring back people's confidence in really good horror films. Like Asian horrors are famous. At one point, the Jailangkung from 2001 was on par with those kind of horrors from South Korea, from Thailand, from Japan. And this is what we're hoping to do. We really
get back on the market again.
To show you that Indonesians can make really good quality horror films that they're not just there to be frightening, but there's actually a good story behind it. And Screenplay have taken the decision to release this on the 25th of June, which is right on Eid. So this is an Eid holiday film. And usually, usually for Eid in Indonesia, it's kind of, people are always trying to get that slot. It's like big blockbuster kind of slots, right? And we're the only horror film to come out.
Because usually it's more into religious kind of movie, right?
So imagine, like, I think Screenplay are really confident with this production. They're putting a horror film out and it's the most random, but I think it's done specifically because they believe that this is a good film. We've made a good film, and they, like Indonesian cinema goers, they're increasingly smart. They know about different genres. They're enjoying different genres. They don't want to just because it's Eid, they don't just want to watch religious stuff. They want to be offered something else. And what we're offering is something very different, but hopefully something that they can enjoy.
And how do you see the movie business here in Indonesia so far?
It's definitely developing. It's definitely going in the right direction. I mean, I think we always need more support from the government. We always need, more. We need our cinema goers to believe in the local cinema again. The only way we can do that is, one, if the government helps us in terms of distribution to make sure that we don't constantly get kicked out by foreign films. But also we ourselves need to make better films. We need to make sure that we're doing high quality stuff. So people want to come back to the cinema. And I think in the past, 2-3 years, it's starting to happen. Like last year, every film in the top 10 was over 1 million tickets sold.
And there's some winning movies also that went to the Biennale or let's say Sundance and stuff like that.
We've had a film like just last month, an Indonesian film that was selected for a Cannes Film Festival. So things are going well, but I think it's it's a combination of us having to maintain that level of quality, but also getting help so that our local films do well in our own turf first before.
And also to get support also from the media and also from the government also. I think so. Eyal love this kind of movie. Maybe he has a question. He was like wondering, okay, what should I ask Hannah?
Well, would you do it again? Would you do it again?
Make a horror film.
Another horror film? Hell yeah. I love horror films. I love the genre.
Are there any hidden message despite of it's being a horror movie? I mean, are there any hidden message, towards your family or?
Well, this is the thing, because this film is, it's based about on this family, and I think it's perfect that it's on Eid, because in Eid in Indonesia usually you go and you watch a film together as a family, and although it's a horror, I think people will watch it and they'll get closer to their family. They'll realize family's number one. Whatever, you'll see what happens in this film is this family's coming together to kind of save themselves from a really bad situation. And I think when you watch it with your family, you're going to feel closer and you're going to feel more like, anything happens to you, I got you. That kind of vibe.
And for ages for this movie, is is it just for adults or it could be like PG-13?
I think is it a 13? PG-13? Hopefully.
At least you have your parents over there to guide you,
I mean, having someone there to hold your hand is always a good thing. Whether it's a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or a husband or a wife, or your family, I mean, I think because we're still going through the censorship process at the moment, so we can't yet confirm, but we want this film to be as accessible as possible.
All ages.
So it's a horror, but we're hoping that it's going to be accessible to as many people as possible.
Okay, when is it going to be premiered?
25th of June.
25th of June,
yes. Oh, sorry, it's the nationwide release is the 25th of June.
Okay, the
but
premiere.
we're doing the premiere on the 19th of June in Jakarta.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, we're actually going to be traveling to Bandung, Medan, Surabaya, Makassar to do special premieres in these towns.
Okay.
So if you're in those towns, you can watch this film. You can buy the tickets and watch it with us before the nationwide release.
Yes.
And then once it's released after the 25th, we're going to be doing a whole road show of 15 towns all across Indonesia.
Wow. I'm looking forward to basically, because again, I'm a typical person. I'm a typical person that I like to peek when I like to watch.
Yeah.
And as for you, after this, what's the future plans? Next movies or upcoming projects?
Hopefully, so there's a few things in the pipeline. So yeah, just watch this space. Hopefully there'll be something more. Hopefully another horror. They're really fun.
Are you looking for? Okay, I want to ask you, for example, if you would like to play a movie that you have in genre, what have you played in?
I think I've done a lot of action, I've done thrillers, I've done drama. I think I'd like to do more drama. I think
why is that?
I've done a lot of the really hardcore stuff.
Okay.
I'd like to show that there is a softer side to me.
There is a softer side,
yeah, there is. It's not just getting chased by ghosts and killing people. Yeah. So yeah. And
okay, a last question now. I like to ask basically, if you could play a role with any actress, who would you want to play with?
Oh wow.
International.
I don't know. I think Idris Elba's a dreamboat.
Idris Elba?
I love Idris Elba, yeah.
Okay.
And Joe Taslim has already played with him. It's amazing. Yeah. Maybe Idris Elba. He's cool.
Okay.
Big fan of his.
And for Indonesian that you haven't played with?
Oh wow. I mean, with this project, it was a dream come true to play with Lukman Sardi and Wulan Guritno, because I've watched their films, since I was young, and it was awesome to be playing alongside them. So, and even strangely, I was their daughter, which is really random. But I think that in itself was a kind of tick off the list.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with the movie. Looking forward to the film.
We'll watch it together. That'd be great.
All right.